I always thought I was one of the lucky ones. When people around me complained about their rocky marriages, about partners who didn't understand them or made life difficult, I would just smile quietly and think, not me, I've got Rachel. She was my dream girl, smart, funny, adventurous, and beautiful in a way that didn't even seem real sometimes. When she laughed, it felt like the whole world lightened. We met at a mutual friend's party, and from the moment she caught my eye, I knew I had to talk to her. I wasn't the type to chase women. I was shy, logical, more comfortable with computers than people. But with her, it was different. She made it easy. Within months, we were inseparable. A year later, I asked her to marry me under a canopy of fairy lights, and when she said yes, I thought I had won life's ultimate jackpot. At first, everything was perfect. We moved into a cozy little house in Dallas, the kind of place with a picket fence and a yard we dreamed about filling with children one day. I worked in IT, long hours but stable pay. She freelanced as a graphic designer, often working from home. Our personalities balanced each other out. My structured, practical side kept things steady, while her artistic, spontaneous nature added color to every day. We built a routine filled with laughter, love, and those little rituals that make marriage feel like home. But slowly, things began to shift. It wasn't sudden, not at first. It was small things. She started spending longer at the gym. She bought new clothes, more revealing than before. Her phone was always glued to her hand, and she became secretive about it. She'd step into the other room to take calls, tilt her screen away when I walked by, smile at messages that clearly weren't from me. When I asked, she brushed it off with a laugh, saying I was being paranoid. And I wanted to believe her. I really did. But then came the lies that didn't add up. She told me she was meeting clients, but she came home smelling like cologne. She said she was exhausted from working, but her energy for me disappeared completely. The woman I married, who once couldn't keep her hands off me, suddenly acted like I was just a roommate. My gut twisted every night, but I forced myself to bury the doubt. That is, until one evening when she left her phone on the couch while she showered. I swear I didn't plan to look, but when the screen lit up with a text notification that said, "Can't wait to feel you again tomorrow, babe. M," my world stopped. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would burst through my chest. My hands shook as I opened the thread, and what I saw made me feel like I was drowning. Hundreds of texts, photos, sweet nothings, hotel bookings. My wife, the woman I trusted with my whole soul, was calling another man love. I sat frozen, staring at proof that everything I thought was real was a lie. And then I heard the shower shut off. She came out, wrapped in a towel, humming softly, completely unaware that the life she built with me had just gone up in flames. She leaned down, kissed my cheek, and said, "You're the best husband." That almost broke me. But I didn't explode. I didn't scream. Something inside me snapped into cold clarity. If I confronted her now, she'd lie, twist it, maybe even make me feel guilty. No. This time, I'd play the long game. Revenge isn't about rage. It's about precision. For the next 2 weeks, I acted like the perfect husband. I kissed her goodbye, brought her flowers, even cooked her favorite pasta one night. She had no idea that every smile I gave her hid a storm brewing inside me. Behind the scenes, I was collecting everything. Screenshots of texts, photos of receipts, even her location history that showed she was spending nights at Mark's apartment instead of the gym. I visited a lawyer, and he told me exactly what I needed. With enough evidence, I could file for divorce and ensure she walked away with nothing. That became my mission. One night, she came home late again, hair messy, clothes smelling strongly of a cologne I didn't wear. I sat at the kitchen table with a glass of whiskey and asked casually, "Rough workout?" She froze for half a second before forcing a laugh and nodding. She rushed to the shower, and I couldn't help but smile to myself. She was so wrapped in her lies, so confident in her little affair, that she never noticed the noose tightening. By our anniversary, I was ready. She expected romance, candles, wine, maybe a night out. Instead, I gave her something far more memorable. I set the table, lit candles, poured her favorite wine. She looked radiant across from me, smiling, maybe even thinking of him. I reached into my jacket and pulled out an envelope, sliding it across the table. She tilted her head. "What's this?" "Open it," I said. Her hands trembled as she pulled out the papers. Screenshots, Photos, receipts, the evidence of every betrayal laid bare. I watched as her face drained of color. I can explain," she stammered, voice shaking. "No," I cut her off, my voice cold as steel. "You'll explain this to a judge." The silence that followed was deafening. For once, Rachel had no clever excuse, no charming smile, just a hollow stare as she realized her perfect little double life was about to crumble. I stood, poured myself another glass of wine, and left her sitting there, surrounded by the ruins of her lies. The next morning, I filed for divorce. My lawyer was merciless. With the evidence I provided, Rachel didn't stand a chance. The court awarded me the house, the car, and most of our assets. She got nothing but her clothes and humiliation. To twist the knife deeper, Mark, the man she gave everything up for, dumped her almost immediately after finding out she was exposed. He wasn't in it for love. She was just a distraction, a fling. With no husband, no lover, no money, Rachel spiraled. She ended up in a small, run-down apartment in a bad part of town. Friends told me she looked worn out, bitter, a shadow of the woman she used to be. Meanwhile, I thrived. I focused on my career, invested in myself, and slowly began dating again. And let me tell you, every time I remember the look on her face at that dinner table, the panic in her eyes, the way her hands shook, I feel a sense of justice that words can't describe. But it didn't end there. She tried to contact me months later, begging for another chance, promising she'd change. She even showed up at my office once, crying, saying she missed me. I looked her straight in the eye and said, "You made your choice. Now live with it." And I walked away, leaving her with the emptiness she created. The sweetest part? Knowing I didn't need to scream or fight. My silence, my patience, my precision. That's what destroyed her. Because real revenge isn't loud. It's calculated. And it cuts deeper than any scream ever could. Now let me ask you, if you were in my shoes, what would you have done? Would you have confronted her immediately or waited like I did, collecting every piece of evidence and striking when it hurt most? Share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your perspective. And if this story kept you hooked, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell icon. We have more stories coming. Real betrayals, shocking revenge, and justice served ice cold. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's next.